All right. Hi, everybody. Glad to see you all today. Welcome to the room. And I'm going to say hi to, let's see, Deborah's living room. Hello, Deborah. Oh, there she is. Hi, Deborah. Nice to see you coming in from Kentucky. Trish, hello. Glad to have you back again today. Jane, coming in from Pennsylvania. Great to see you. Hello, Kim in Massachusetts. Nice to have you. Kathleen in Albuquerque. Glad you're here again today. Good to see you. Hello to Doug coming in from Vermont. Nice to see you again. Sheila in Florida. Hello. Hello, Gay. Nice to have you again. You're one of our new regulars. I'm loving it. Hello, Carol. Nice to have you coming in from British Columbia. And Robin, good to see you coming in from Baltimore. Robin, I haven't seen you in a while. Great to see you. Kathy coming in from Virginia along with her Joe Biden masked doll. I love it. Thank you, Kathy. That's great. Bonnie coming in from Idaho. Hello, Mary. Nancy in New Hampshire. And Carolyn in Idaho. Good to see you. Hello, Susan in Seattle. Hello, Zeta and Tenny in Chicago. There's two little ones in the room. I love the little teeny weeny faces. Hello, Storm in Massachusetts. Hello, Jay. I'm not sure your name. Great to see you today. And hello, Nancy's Irish Cow in Washington State. And Isabel in Florida. Hello. Hello, Francette. Nice to have you again. Another new one. And Barb in Kentucky. Hello. David in upstate New York. Hello. Adele in the DC area. Beryl in Chicago. Glad to see you. And lots of folks not on video yet. Terry, Joni, Catherine, Kathy, Lynn, Fred, and some others. I'm sorry if I didn't call your name. We'll get you on the goodbye end of things. Glad to see you all today. Hello also to everybody out there on Facebook Live. We're glad you're with us today. Welcome to the Washington Rebels Carpe Diem Arts Daily Antidote of Song. As we are in our Singing for Racial Justice Weeks, this is the second to last day of what has been an incredible series. And today is ever so incredible again. We're introducing the room to a new artist, and we're very excited. And in keeping with the whole co-hosting thing, we've got Steve Winnick in the room with me today. A couple quick announcements. One is that the lyrics will be in the chat. Two is that my email address is in the chat. If you want to be on the Daily Antidote email list or you have questions or comments, please write. To anyone who's new in the room, we are doing this every single day at noon Eastern Standard Time right here. We're on day, well, I know next week we'll hit day 225. So that's kind of exciting. Woo! We are at 67,000 plus views and 14 different countries and 46 states across the nation. So it's kind of exciting the way this community has built upon itself to become a superpower community. We are so excited to be able to share all of what we've been going through together during these very strange and tough times. And lots of thanks and love to all of you for the strength and for the action that everybody's been engaged in this room and elsewhere in their lives. So Steve Winnick, we all who've been here a lot, we know him well. He is a regular song leader in the room, and he is also our partner in the Library of Congress Archive Challenge Week. And we are starting an Archive Challenge Week on Monday with a lineup of remarkable artists. And Shakura actually came to us through Steve because Shakura did in fact make a song in the Archive Challenge. And I believe she's going to join us in January, we hope, for an Archive Challenge Week. And Steve, why don't you go ahead and explain Shakura's presence today and her participation in January?
Sure. Well, of course, we were looking to fill out an entire week of artists doing material from the American Folklife Center archive, and that required us to contact more artists than ultimately we booked because you're not sure everyone's going to say yes, and we don't have that much time, et cetera. And so we ended up with more yeses than we had slots during that week. And we thought Shakura would be a great artist to put into this week instead. And so that was essentially how it happened. But we loved having Shakura in the Archive Challenge when we did. She performed for us at the Folk Alliance Conference. And I'm currently not remembering whether that was in Montreal or New Orleans or Kansas City. We've where we travel for this conference, and so we sometimes don't remember which year it was. But Shakura will tell us. Where were you?
I believe it was in Montreal.
That's what I thought too. Yeah, so it was the Montreal year. A couple of years back, we had the meeting in Montreal, and Shakura performed for us there. So Shakura, tell us a little bit about yourself and your approach to music.
Well, I was born I'm joking. I was going to do the Steve, the Steve Martin thing. Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't quite transfer when I do it. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. And at the age of 6 or 7, we moved to Canada stayed here for 2.5 years, and moved to Switzerland for 3 years, 3.5 years. And then we moved back to Toronto, and I've been in Toronto ever since. And so that really speaks to my approach to music, because when I was living in the States, I had access to the music that my grandmother and my aunts and uncles were listening to, which tended to be a lot more R&B, roots, everything from Bill Withers to the Supremes, Gladys Knight to Etta James and Clarence Carter, um, music that I didn't even know I was listening to, but it was filling up my head. Then we came to Canada, and I was listening to, regular AM radio. So I was figuring out how to play American Pie, and on my guitar, and then we moved to Switzerland,
Hmm.
and this is before globalization. I'm that old. And the music that I listened to then was everything from we were really happy when Barry White came in, and we got Barry White, and we got the sounds of Philadelphia. Tina Turner was big then. But I was a huge Sweet fan. I don't know if any of you here know the band Sweet. They were around at the same time that the Bay City Rollers were going on, and we would beat up kids who liked the Bay City Rollers because it was all about ballroom blitz, you know. And then I moved back to Canada, and my musical journey changed again, because at that time in Canada, a lot of the kids of immigrants were coming in. Their parents had finally worked long enough and had saved enough money where they could afford to bring their kids up, specifically from the Caribbean at that time. So all of a sudden, I'm listening to reggae for the first time, and
Hmm.
and calypso for the first time, and I'm hearing all these lilting accents. And I never knew about the islands at all. And I'm meeting a lot of people from the Asian territories, because they were in our schools, and I'm hanging out with a lot of Italians. So I'm listening to everything from Ti Amo to, Wine, Wine, Wine to, No Woman, No Cry. And at the same time, I'm playing guitar, and I'm learning how to play, Harvest Moon on my guitar, or Motorcycle Mama on my guitar, you know. So it all of that.
Hmm.
And then at the age of 21, I borrowed my mother's Etta James Live in San Francisco cassette. That's right, I'm that old. and 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 it changed my life. I had already been listening to Billie Holiday, had done some dabbing in Nina Simone, but Etta James changed my life, and because I heard everything that I had grown up with, she took all of that and she made it into this sound that was authentically her. And I realized that I didn't have to be from Mississippi, or I didn't have to be from, from Tennessee, in order to take my authentic sound and make it roots. I could take all of my experiences and throw them together, and come up with a really authentic sounding me.
Wow.
And so that's what I've been doing over the past, I guess it's almost 32 years now I've been in this business,
All
and I'm only 35.
right. How did you? Well, tell us about the experience a little bit of being in the archive challenge, of learning a song from, a traditional roots music archive and putting that together.
My whole experience of Folk Alliance is a matter of, let me jump off this cliff and see how deep down I can go before I have to figure out how to land. And I went into this Folk Alliance saying, I want to do every single thing I can do. I want to volunteer for as much as possible. I want to do a workshop. I want to do an archive challenge, because you get all of these notices of things that are offered to you as a Folk Alliance attendee. And it came up, and I thought, this sounds kind of interesting. I've never thought about, a music archive. I know about photography archives. I know about historical archives, because I'm participated in that process in Toronto. But to actually go into the archives, it was very intimidating, but it was highly educational and super interesting. It's not something that you think about doing. And the music was so raw. We're talking raw footage, recordings of people giving their experiences, and then the most rawest of sounds. So the song that I chose was Love Me. What was it again? Love Me. Love Me.
Yeah, it was. I think it was just called "Love Me." Yeah,
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 yeah. Thank you. Menopause.
yeah.
There's more to it. So the most interesting thing about it was it didn't really have a melody. It was just this song that was sort of sung spoken, but it spoke to me. There was something about it that spoke to me, but I didn't want to change it so much that I took it away from that authentic space where those words didn't need a real melody. So I worked together with my bass player, Roger Williams, and we came up with this really simple line. You know, after I convinced him that this could be done, because anytime I think of jumping off the cliff, Roger's like, let me just sit here in case you need rope. And instead, he decided to jump off with me, and he had rope tied around his waist. And he just started playing this bass line, and I just started singing, and it seemed to work. But it was just such an honor. You know, there's something about singing standard music with history and understanding the history behind it, understanding the people that created that history and that music and the circumstances that they were going through at that time, and having the archives bring all of that together for you so that when you're singing it, you're not just singing something you heard on the radio or that you really don't know the roots of. It really was an honor to be able to sing that song.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And as we told people, next week, starting on Monday, we'll be doing a whole week of Archive Challenge performances where artists go into the American Folklife Center archive, find a song, learn it just as Shakura did, and perform their own version. So stick around for all next week. But right now, we want to get Shakura's song going. And so just tell us a little bit about, you know, Will the Circle Be Unbroken, and why you chose this song and the version that you chose.
Absolutely. I Most of my musical soulful knowledge came from records. We didn't have a big stereo system or anything, but my grandmother in her brownstone in Brooklyn had a second floor where there was a stereo, and all of the grandchildren and the daughters would leave their records, and there was a 45, and it was the Staple Singers. I mean, there were a lot of 45s, but specifically there were the Staple Singers, and I fell in love with them in her brownstone. Then when we moved to Switzerland, we had an 8-track that had all of the Staple Singer songs in there, like Samson and Delilah, and you know, I'll Take You There. But this song struck me because I had such a strong connection to my grandmother, and this person being by the window watching watching the procession of their mother leaving. It struck a chord in me, and it always has. And this idea of when those who we love leave us, you know, do we do we how do we manage to keep that connection to each other, to our families, to our friends? And I think in this time, you know, will the circle be unbroken? Will we manage to keep our connectors up? Will we manage to stay connected to our communities, to our tribes, to our loved ones, to the people who are strangers? How do we do that? You know, and how do we do that in a place where we have to be isolated at the same time? So I thought it was a good song.
All right. Well,
Should I
let
do it?
us
Okay.
let us begin with the song.
Okay. And sing along as much as you like. Oh, and I'm going to merge it with another song which has the same melody afterwards, and we can just go along and sing that a little bit too. All right. I was standing by my window on one cold and cloudy day when I saw how hearse come rolling for to take my mother away. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Undertaker, oh, Undertaker, will you please, please drive slow for the lady that you're holding? Lord, I hate to see her go. Oh, will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. I was standing with my sisters, I was standing with my friend, but I could not. Sorry, I forgot the lyrics. I could not hide my sorrow when they laid her in the grave. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Now we're going to do something a little bit different. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down, I feel better. I feel better, so much better. Since I laid my burden down, I feel better, so much better. Since I laid my burden down. Glory, glory. Oh, glory, glory. Hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down. Glory, glory. Hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down. One last time, yeah. Glory, glory. Hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down. Glory, glory. Hallelujah. Since I laid my burdens, oh, I laid them down.
Woo, Shakura, that was absolutely amazing. Unbelievable. Thank you so much for taking us on a double musical journey there. So, Steve Winnick, do you want to do a little chatting with Shakura before we sing it once more?
Sure, absolutely. You mentioned your song "Love Me," and I should tell everyone that the video of that performance, which was done in Montreal, is on the Library of Congress website. Everybody can watch it. So I'm putting it into the chat right now, and that'll be so. When you're done with the Daily Antidote today, you can go and hear Shakura sing another song. But that song wasn't a chorus song by nature, and that's one of the reasons why Shakur is going to come back in January with a different archive song for us rather than that one, so that we can all sing along. Because "Love Me" was more of a solo, and a great piece it was, recorded by Alan Lomax and John Work in Mississippi in 1942 on their sort of famous expedition out there. So So that was a great piece, and like I said, you can see that in the link that I just put into the chat. Um, so another thing that's interesting about your work, Shakura, is that you've done a lot of work for film and TV. So tell us a little bit about that, if you would.
Well, I don't know if we have any Schitt's Creek's fans here, but I'm in that show in the first season, and I think in the second season as well. It was probably one of my most fun things that I've done. Was being in that show. Watching Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara work was like masterclass. They are true professionals and true artists. Their comedy is. There was one moment when, if you've seen the show, you've seen where I'm practicing the song because I want to get to be good, and Catherine comes and she tells me, that that I need more practice, basically. So there's one part where right before we start shooting, I'm going through my lines and I'm looking at her, and she starts saying, "Well, I don't know why you're letting them use you like this. Don't you know they're just using you? Don't you know you're better than this? You need to just run away." And I went, because I realized she was just ad-libbing. I had no idea what to do. I thought she was really telling me that the production company we were working with was using me. And, and I got all panicky because how do I get out of this? I like Eugene Levy. I want to stay, but she's telling me to leave. But it was just really wonderful. I've also done a lot of work with, I'm on Titans, and there's another show that I'm going to be on in January that I can't speak about, but I can say that it fits in that Marvel universe. Oh, sorry, not Marvel universe. It fits in the DC universe. So I'm really excited about that. And that's always been a huge part of what I do. Whether I'm singing or acting, they sort of merge together for me a lot.
Well, thanks. Yeah, now that people know that you're in those shows, I'm sure those of us who haven't seen them will rush and and start taking a look for you because obviously you're uh, doing some great stuff, and we love the song that you gave us today. And in fact, we'd like to ask you if you could sing the chorus of it again, the "Will the Circle Be Unbroken" part. That's
Absolutely.
sort of how we usually end, is with everybody singing along on the chorus a second time.
So do we
So
put it on repeat? We just go over and over again?
yeah, that would work. I think. What do you think? Does that work? Yeah, Joe's nodding. That sounds like a plan. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
You'll
once
tell me when to
again,
stop.
what? Well, just when you feel it. When you feel it is good. So just
Just I think like another run through, Shakura, if you're up for it, run through it once more, just the whole way you just did the first time, just so we get to put it in our ears again.
oh,
Yeah,
Okay, the whole song? Okay.
if you're up for it.
Yeah.
sounds even better.
Hold on. I'm going to get the words this time because #menopause. Oh
I
my.
see other women in the room who are saying,
Good.
been there, done that. So yeah.
My children are you and you too.
Right, right.
It's just too much. It's just, I don't understand how are we supposed to remember so much? All right, let me just make sure I have this. Okay.
So before you start, we just want to say one more time, thank you so much, Shakura. This has been great, and it's always good to see you too. Thank you.
I thank you. I thank you for having me, and thank you all for being here. It's wonderful to see all of you. It really is. Okay, I'm going to sing all the lyrics this time properly. Okay. All right.
So
I was standing by the window on one cold and cloudy day when I saw her come rolling, oh, to take my mother away. Will the circle be unbroken. By and by, Lord, by and by, there's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Undertaker, undertaker, will you please drive your wagon slow? For this lady that you're holding, Lord, I hate to see her go. Oh, will the circle be unbroken? By and by, Lord, by and by, there's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Oh, hey, will the circle be unbroken? By and by, Lord, by and by, there's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
Woo! Shakura, thank you so much. Everybody, let's give it up to Shakura.
Everybody stay healthy.
And actually, since we're in the midst of this, weirdness of Zoom and all the rest of it, can we all please give Shakura a big hug? Coming in all the way over there from Toronto. Shakura, we loved singing with you. Thank you so much. I forgot to mention in the upfrontish discussion or introing that Shakura has been nominated for some ungodly amount of Juno Awards. What is it, like 7? What?
Maple Blues Awards. I've only been nominated for 2 Juno Awards.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been nominated for 2 Juno Awards and 1 Blues Music Award from the Blues Foundation and a couple of Blues Maple. Yeah.
Very cool.
And it's an honor. It truly is an honor to be nominated. I thank you very much. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Absolutely love it. So I saw that you had a couple of recordings out. We put your link into the chat and we will also include it and your YouTube channel in the email that we send out tomorrow for folks that want to follow up. And also the link that Steve put in of your recording at the Library of Congress. We'll include all of that tomorrow so folks can find you.
And also we were talking about taking it to the streets. And I did a cover of that with my band and with some really great friends. And there's a YouTube link that I put on the chat earlier of that. And it's a really great showcase. It talks about Black Lives Matter in the photography, but it just it was done over the summer. And I would love it if you guys took a look at it.
Great. We would love to take a look at it, and maybe we can even have you come back again in the future and sing that after you're done with your Archive Challenge one in January. Loved singing with you in this room and want to just thank you again. Is there anything specific coming up, a concert or anything you want to point us to, or just your website?
No, I will tell you that I will be releasing a song that I wrote with Keb Mo and that he produced at the end of this month. So look out for that. It's a song called Clap Your Hands and Moan. When you're trying to call up heaven, but the devil's on the phone, just stomp your feet, clap your hands, and moan. And we're hoping that people enjoy that. So that's the only thing that's coming up in the next little while.
That's great, Shakura. Thank you so much. Yeah, well, so we'll keep following you and hopefully get a chance to be with you again. I just want to quickly shout out 2 things. I forgot for like the 2nd or 3rd day in a row to say anything about donating. If you're new in the room or otherwise, all of the money that comes in goes directly to the performing artists who lead us. And it's definitely the donations of everyone in this room and everybody out there on Facebook Live that are keeping this program going. So thank you so much in advance for all of that help that you're sending our way. And I am, in fact, going to say goodbye to everybody out there on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to shout out the folks from Omaha and Massachusetts and Texas who are all in the room out there on Facebook. Thank you so much for being here. And tomorrow.